Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Testing. Testing, testing. Testing. You okay? No rush, just making sure you're okay. I think I got it to work. This time wirelessly. Last time we used like a cable. So we had to prop the laptop up over there. So it was it was kind of wild, but it's working a lot better today. Yeah. So I'm thinking we can wait a couple more minutes and see if anyone else joins us by Zoom. There's no one logged in at the moment for Zoom. And then we'll wait for a little bit to see if anyone else comes in person. All right. Michael, which you met last time, he was gonna try to join us today, but he had to work. So, but he said he'll definitely be here for the next one in March. Okay. He volunteered to lead the March discussion. So he'll definitely be there.
Michael, is that the librarian?
Yes. Yep. That's him.
Okay.
Yep. Because this one I'll try to do in bilingual. I'll try to do it in both languages. So he said he might not have too much to contribute because his Spanish is not that good, but I'll be translating for anybody and everybody. So, or I'll try. We'll see. I'll definitely try. So I just really wanted. I'm originally from Colombia, and I really wanted to try to bring some more of the Latino community together in this way as well. So, if you're okay with us recording and anyone else that comes in recording is okay with that too, then, because last one I tried to record it, but I didn't press the record button at the beginning, so it didn't work. So this time, if we record it properly, it's already recording and we can stop at any time. Since this one's already recording, it'll be recorded and we can present it on some of the social media, and that way people can get to see a little bit about what this group is trying to do, and so they can participate a little bit in the discussion, even if it's remotely or from further away in time, since they wouldn't be seeing it live. So okay, so we'll wait a little bit. Are you okay with the recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have water?
Yes, I think we do. These are cold. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks again for bringing this phone.
Yeah.
I'll definitely need a couple.
Yeah, okay.
My pleasure. Yes. I'm going to keep on here. Then it's just Did I have your name and email?
Sure.
You said you were here earlier this week?
Yeah, I came yesterday.
Okay.
Wrong day.
Okay. Let me see, what am I missing? wonder if that's a good angle for this. Maybe, I guess that'll be fine. I think I'll squeeze it over a little, because it'll, looks like it'll just be us. So. I got a digital copy on Kindle, and I forgot to bring my iPad, so I have it on here, but I took some notes and I can just look down on my phone for that. Should be fine. Let me just get that out. There are some napkins if you need, or tissues if you need them.
Thank you.
Sure. Try to log in to Wi-Fi. I can figure it out. I didn't realize how like loud it gets over here because of all the TV, cars and stuff driving by. And the doors are a little open. It sounds pretty loud.
Yeah.
But it's not too bad right now. I guess we'll see after the recording, see if it's actually really loud during the recording. It might be okay. It'll be fine, probably. But you know what? I think we can just go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not. If anyone else just comes in a little later, then we'll just let them in. So let me get the agenda out and probably share the screen. That way people at home seeing the video can follow along as well. Even if they couldn't make it in person today or in Zoom. Only I could find the share screen button. Here it is. It's right in front of me. Okay. See what this looks like. All right, you can still see. You could still see us as well. Okay, so welcome back, Jeffrey. Welcome everybody. Bienvenidos todos. Mi nombre es Víctor Orozco. Yo soy un voluntario, director de la Junta Voluntario de Naples Pride. Y hoy estamos aquí en el Club de Cultura Queer. Y hoy estaremos discutiendo el libro que escogimos el comité y nosotros, que se llama Parentesco, escrito por la autora afroamericana Octavia Butler, y en inglés se llama Kindred. So, welcome everybody who wasn't able to make it by Zoom or in person today. Welcome, Jeffrey. Thanks for coming today. We'll be discussing Kindred by Octavia Butler. And like I've introduced myself before, my name is Victor Orozco, and I'm one of the Naples Pride volunteer board directors. And at the moment, I'm helping out with our queer culture club discussion. It's still a mouthful trying to say the whole name of the club. So welcome and bienvenidos todos. So here at Naples Pride, we're still following the social distancing guidelines and some of the mask mandates. So we appreciate that you take care of yourself in that way. Aquí en Naples Pride todavía estamos siguiendo los mandatos de la discusión, los mandatos de distanciamiento social y también los mandatos de ponerse su máscara para estar seguros. Jeffrey, I'd appreciate it if during throughout the discussion, if you need to talk, try not to take your mask off, and if you do, just sanitize afterwards, and I'll try to do the same as well. Y para ustedes en casa y en lugares públicos, acuérdense siempre de que cuando estén hablando y que intenten no quitarse la máscara y siempre utilizar algún tipo de desinfectante siempre que toquen su máscara o siempre que bajen su máscara para ayudar a impedir el contagio de esta enfermedad, de este virus. Okay. Okay, so Jeffrey, you and I get big slices of pizza. So I have to put in we have to put in the order now. So do you have any preference to the kind of pizza you like?
I like veggie.
Okay, veggie. I do too. Are you vegetarian?
No, I eat meat, but on pizza, I usually like veggie.
Okay. Do you want any kind of meat on that or just veggie? I'm not picky at all, so I think we should go with whatever. I like veggie too, so that's.
Yeah, pepperoni is good.
Okay. So I'll ask Corey to put in an order. Hopefully she lets us, I'm sure she'll put in an order for us. It should be fine. Veggie. Entonces, nosotros también estaba hablando con Jeffrey, hoy vamos a poner la orden para la pizza. Entonces, si alguno de ustedes llega tarde, pueden venir más tarde y va a quedar alguna pizza en el refrigerador si quieren comer lo que sobra. Pero la próxima vez pueden venir y compartir en persona, guardando los mandatos de distanciamiento social y de salud, y entonces pueden comer pizza fresquita acabadita de salir del horno. Nosotros en esta junta nos estamos intentando reunir el cuarto miércoles de cada mes. El enero fue nuestra primer junta y esta es nuestra segunda, entonces vamos a intentar hacerlo todo el año. Lo más seguro es que en noviembre y diciembre no nos juntemos el cuarto miércoles de ese mes, pero estaremos informándoles a todos más adelante sobre qué otras oportunidades hay para otros eventos. Lo más seguro es que hagamos un tipo de reunión, puede ser aquí afuera, tenemos un espacio grande para que toda la gente que ha participado en las discusiones del Qlub de Cultura puedan conocerse en persona. Again, this meeting will be held on the fourth Wednesday of every month. January was the first one, and we hope to do this all year. We're thinking of having some type of get together at the end of the year, hopefully probably outside, just to be on the safe side. We have a pretty big space outside, and we'll meet out there and try to get everybody that participated in this year's discussion meetings to meet and get to know each other in person. So just keep looking at our social media, our websites, and you'll get constant updates as to how these meetings will be held. Entonces, siempre estén pendientes de los medios sociales y los sitios web de nosotros para ver qué tipo de participación pueden tener a través del año, sea en esta junta o sea en otra junta de los otros grupos que están participando, que están participando en actividades del centro. Okay. Una de nuestras misiones es conocernos un poco más los unos a los otros en la comunidad LGBTQ y con los aliados de nuestra comunidad en el suroeste de la Florida. Y queremos hacerlo a través de esta discusión sobre diferentes obras de cultura popular como libros, actividades culturales, películas, shows de televisión, pero específicamente queremos discutir obras que tengan alguna temática LGBTQ, sean obras que sean escritas por autores o que sean de nuestra comunidad, sea actores famosos principales que sean parte de nuestra comunidad. Queremos exaltar y celebrar nuestra comunidad por medio de esta discusión. So, we want to make friends in Southwest Florida, our little discussion group, and get to know each other a little better as we discuss different cultural pieces, like books, films, some TV shows, if that ever comes up, some current events. So we just want to also in this group, we want to celebrate our community and get to talk about it and just get to share like our own love and passion for all of our cultural output. Okay, so we already signed in. If you see this video later on, we'd appreciate it if you send us an email message. You can go to our website and send us a message letting us know that you saw this video, or you can rate it on whatever platform you find it. We'd appreciate that. You can also sign up for our newsletter, and that'll help us know if who's watching it, and that'll also help us communicate to you what's going on in our center and in our activities throughout the year. Entonces, si ves nosotros ya firmamos nuestra información mostrando que estamos participando hoy. Si ustedes ven este video más adelante, les agradeceríamos si van a nuestro sitio web naplespride.org y nos mandan un mensaje por ahí diciéndonos que vieron este video, que participaron de forma remota, o pueden poner un comentario en el video, en cualquier plataforma que vean este video. También les agradeceríamos si ustedes se apuntan a recibir nuestro newsletter, nuestra revista digital, para que ustedes también estén constantemente comunicados sobre los eventos que estamos poniendo aquí en el centro y los eventos que estén pasando en línea también. Okay. Bueno, aquí pueden ver un poco de información sobre los sitios webs para las diferentes formas de cómo apoyarnos. Entonces ustedes pueden donar visitando a nuestro sitio web naplespride.org. Pueden donar cualquier cantidad en cualquier momento. Pueden comprar productos con nuestra insignia, con nuestro logo en nuestro sitio web también, en naplespride.org. Pueden convertirse en miembros individuales de Naples Pride y pagar una cierta membresía. Pueden comprar también una membresía de negocios. Si ustedes son personas de negocios y quieren darle más visibilidad a su negocio, pueden ayudarnos a nosotros mientras ustedes se ayudan a ustedes mismos. Y también pueden seguir nuestros perfiles en diferentes medios sociales, sea en Facebook, en Instagram, en TikTok, para que puedan ver lo que está pasando en el centro y para que puedan compartir con otras personas sobre las cosas que estamos haciendo aquí para unir a la comunidad y para entretener a la comunidad. So to donate, you can visit our website. There are different ways to support our program. All of our services are free. So please consider supporting us in any of the following ways. You can go to our website and donate, make a one-time donation or make multiple one-time donations. You can go to our website and also buy some Naples Pride gear and products. You can become an individual member. Or you can purchase a business alliance membership if you have a business or know someone who does and wants to get some more information, wants to get their name out there and show their support for us. You can do that. You can also follow us on different social media platforms. We're very active on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay, so ahora hablamos un poquito sobre algunas de las reglas y sugerencias para participar en el Club de Cultura. Entonces, no se bajen las máscaras mientras estén discutiendo, mientras estén hablando. Esto es bueno hacer, sea que estén con otras personas o aquí cuando nos visiten en persona. Hagan su mejor esfuerzo para completar la obra, la película, el libro, lo que sea. Pero si no lo hacen, aún compartan con nosotros. Pero asegúrense de aceptar de que tal vez van a escuchar partes del libro o de la obra que no vieron. Okay? O sea, pues que van a estar expuestos a spoilers, que se dice en inglés. Vengan listos para compartir y escuchar, estén preparados para respaldar sus opiniones con el por qué. Autocensúrense si tienen la oportunidad, si pueden, si se recuerdan. Entonces, intenten pues de ser respetuosos con todos y diviértanse. Si dejan de disfrutarlo, avísanos y déjanos saber qué sugerencias tienes para mejorar la discusión la próxima vez. Okay. So some club rules and suggestions. Don't pull down your mask when you're speaking. Try not to, and make sure to sanitize your hands as much as possible. Make your best efforts to complete the book or film or whatever piece we're discussing. And if you don't, you're welcome to join, but beware that there will be spoilers. Come ready to both share and listen. Be ready to back up your opinions with the why. Try to self-censor, try to just be respectful of everybody and try to use I statements like I thought the book was too long, as opposed to something like the book is too long. But every opinion is welcome anyway. Try to have a good time. If you stop enjoying it, let one of us know. Send us a message somewhere and let us know, what do you think we could do better to improve the quality of the discussion. And we're almost done with these housekeeping things. So I have to read this since we are a small group. So just remember that the concerns of this group is to create a supportive atmosphere for all participants. We make confidentiality a top priority. Outside the group, we can discuss situations, but never use names or other identifying information. Within the group, we must maintain confidentiality. So, this is a pop culture discussion. So if you need some type of support, there are some support groups available as well that you can attend. We provide support by listening carefully, sharing our own stories, and relating our own problem-solving experiences. We are sensitive to each person's stage in the awareness and acceptance process. We are supportive rather than confrontational. Everyone will be given a chance to speak. However, no one person should monopolize the conversation. So side discussions are discouraged as each person's remarks are important to the whole group. Entonces, algunas reglas sobre el grupo. Las preocupaciones en este grupo de apoyo disculpe, las prioridades de nosotros es crear una atmósfera de apoyo para todos los participantes del grupo. La confidencialidad es nuestra prioridad absoluta. Este grupo es primariamente un grupo de discusión de cultura. Entonces hay grupos de apoyo disponibles para la gente que quiera compartir en esos grupos. También visita nuestro sitio web para más información sobre esos grupos. Aquí en esta discusión y en todos nuestros grupos queremos brindar apoyo, escuchando con atención, compartiendo nuestras propias historias y relatando nuestras propias experiencias de resolución de problemas. Somos sensibles a la etapa de cada persona en el proceso de conciencia y aceptación. Somos solidarios, somos más solidarios que conflictivos. Todos tendrán la oportunidad de hablar. Sin embargo, ninguna persona debe monopolizar la conversación. Se desalientan las discusiones paralelas, ya que los comentarios de cada persona son importantes para todo el grupo. Y ahora podemos empezar nuestra discusión. So now we can begin our discussion. Okay, Jeffrey, since you are here, would you care to like summarize the book a little bit, or tell us what the book is about?
Okay, let me ask you, are there other people on the Zoom?
There's no one, it's just us, it's just you and I right now.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting book. I like the time traveling aspect, similar to the last book that we read.
I think about it.
And I liked the, I didn't read the whole thing, but I did read some of it. So I did like the historical aspect of it, the slavery and the white versus the black culture and how it kind of intertwined in the book, and it was interesting. Yeah.
Entonces le pregunté a Jeffrey que si puede dar como una revisión así sobre del libro. El libro, él estaba comentando que el libro es sobre el viaje a través del tiempo y también sobre como un tipo de interacción entre la raza blanca y afroamericana aquí en los Estados Unidos. También estaba comentando que tiene un aspecto, tiene un enfoque en la historia estadounidense. Entonces, ese es como una summary general, una revisión general sobre de qué fue este libro que leímos este mes. El Parentesco de Octavia Butler. So, Kindred by Octavia Butler. La última vez empezamos la discusión con la siguiente pregunta: ¿cuál es una palabra que utilizaríamos para describir cómo nos sentimos con esta obra? So last time we spoke, we began the discussion with the question, what is one word we could use to describe how the piece made us feel about this, how the book itself made us feel about the whole thing. So I'll go first. I think last time I said empowered, so I can't say that again for the last book. Although there was I did feel a little empowered. I think I felt inspired this time. La última vez yo dije que sentía el libro que leímos la última vez en enero se llama The Gilda Stories, las historias de Gilda. Estuvo escrito también por una autora afroamericana y mitad nativoamericana. Y ese libro me hizo sentir como con poder, me hizo sentir que tenía yo la oportunidad de actuar. Este libro, Parentesco, me hizo sentir inspirado. Me inspiró porque la autora principal, la personaje principal de este libro me parece que tiene mucha valentía para lo que hizo. So, yeah, I felt inspired by this character. I thought she was very courageous in a lot of the ways that she just handled all these situations she was in. So that's how it made, that's one word I used to describe how this book made me feel. You want to share how this book made you feel in one word?
Informed.
Informed. Okay. That's good. Y Jeffrey dice que este libro lo hizo sentir informado, que lo informó. Este libro. You want to share a little more about that? Or?
Sure. The idea is, I felt her mind. I felt that I was learning from her, basically, an experience that I never would have. So that's what I mean by informed.
Geoffrey dice que él se sintió informado, que se sintió como si la personaje lo estaba educando sobre una experiencia que él nunca hubiera tenido en su vida. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. I get really excited about these types of books, stories with like a justice component to it, you could say. You know, because she's dealing with a lot of these issues that we're dealing with now to some extent still, I would say. I mean, first of all, I'm not in like an interracial relationship at the moment, but I like that I like the word you used, because if you've never been in an interracial relationship, you get to see in a way firsthand a lot of the stress and experiences that go into that. So I like that. Le digo yo a Jeffrey que me gusta la forma en que él describe el libro porque, por ejemplo, ella, la autora, nos informa sobre cómo es estar en una relación interracial aquí en los Estados Unidos, porque viene con alguna tensión, algún estrés que uno no experimentaría en persona a menos de que estuviera uno en una relación interracial. La personaje principal es una autora también afroamericana y ella está en una relación con un autor blanco. So I'm explaining that the main character is a African American author, and she's in a relationship with a white author as well. So, when you said informed, was that like one of the aspects that she informed you about, or was there other stuff that was going through your head?
Well, just her experience being African American and her experience with white people. It wasn't just like a book like The Color Purple where it's just African American, just Black people. It's kind of her experience as an African American or Black woman versus white people. So I thought that was interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't read The Color Purple. I've seen the movie. And yeah, as far as I can remember, I don't remember seeing a white character in the movie at all. I guess I remember there was the woman. I think she was I don't know. Was there slavery in that book, in that work?
The Color Purple?
Yeah. Was it right before or right after?
I think
it was around.
I think it might have been. Well, I don't remember when it was, but in the book, in the story, they have there's an abusive relationship, but they're not slaves.
Right. Yeah.
And then she gets away, her sisters are taken away. And, oh no, her children are taken away. That's what it was. And she's in an abusive relationship and she gets out of it and she gets into a lesbian relationship with a dancing girl that comes to town. And that's the story. So I don't know that there's any slavery at all in the story. It might have been right after slavery, or maybe it was just a different area and country. I don't know what the details of that. But pretty much it's all Black characters.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any white characters.
I remember one now. I think she went to the store at some point. No, there was I don't know if she was a local like landowner or like a widow. And then the character that Oprah played was teaching her how to drive. It almost felt like she was an indentured servant to her, not quite a slave, because I don't remember either, if it was set during slavery or afterwards. But I do remember her. But yeah, other than that, I can't remember any other white characters in that story. So, Jeffrey y yo estábamos hablando de que él se siente informado en la forma en que las dos razas principales discutidas en este libro, la blanca y la afroamericana, se vio mucho cómo estas dos razas interactuaban, ¿cierto? Así personalmente. Estábamos hablando de que en otra obra anterior, que se llama The Color Purple en inglés, o El color púrpura, hay una película muy famosa con Oprah. Oprah está ahí y Whoopi Goldberg es la autora, la actriz principal en esa obra. Entonces tal vez ustedes en casa han visto esta obra antes. Y en esa obra estábamos diciendo que no hay mucha interacción con la raza blanca. Hay un personaje que ella es como un tipo de viuda con dinero, con propiedad tal vez, que una de las personajes afroamericanas le está enseñando a manejar, pero se siente más como un tipo de servitud casi en contra de su propia voluntad. No nos acordamos bien si esta obra tomó lugar durante la esclavitud o después, entonces no nos acordamos muy bien. Pero entonces, sí, eso es algo que tal vez, ya que lo pienso más también yo, no estoy muy al tanto de muchas obras, sean de televisión, de libros o de películas, que haya tanta interacción entre las otras razas. So, yeah, right now off the top of my head, I can't think of any other cultural pieces where there's that much interaction between the races during this time. Let me see. So there's only there's a show that I see on and off. It's called Insecure. Have you heard about it? It's on HBO. It's I think she's the producer and writer. Her name is Issa Rae, and she's also the main character. And it's set in our times, in Los Angeles, and she has some white pretty much most of her co-workers are white, but then the rest of the main characters are also African American. So other than that, right now I can't think of any other cultural pieces where there's a lot of interaction between those two races. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head. Can you think of any other book or movie where there's a little more interaction between different races set in the U.S.? Maybe in that time too.
Well, I mean, I'm not thinking of African American, but I'm thinking of West Side Story. That would be different races.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Uh,
I don't think I've seen that yet. I think maybe I've seen a little bit of it, but Yeah, I think, was it like Italians or something?
West Side Story is Puerto Ricans
Okay.
versus the white people of the time. I think it might take place in the 50s or 60s, some old time, but
And it's based off of the Romeo and Juliet.
it's similar to
story.
Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, I've seen Romeo and Juliet, some of the film adaptations. I'm sure I had to read some of that in high school too, some of the actual Shakespeare, I guess, lines. So, la otra obra que estaba diciendo Jeffrey es West Side Story. Es una historia, es un musical, right? It's a musical, basado en la obra de Shakespeare, de Romeo y Julieta. Y en esa obra, West Side Story es una batalla entre dos razas, entre dos grupos culturales, los italianos en Nueva York y los puertorriqueños también en Nueva York. So I remember, I mean, yeah, I guess it ends. Does that end as well, like Romeo and Juliet in Shakespeare? Probably.
Doesn't end with it.
So, I'm not too sure.
If it ends with death. I know her brother dies in the movie, but I don't think the movie ends with the two of them dying.
Okay.
Just the brother, just Maria's brother,
Okay,
the Puerto Rican's brother.
gotcha. Sí, no estamos seguros si en West Side Story también mueren los personajes principales como en Romeo y Julieta. Pero sí hay un hermano de María que sí muere en esta obra de West Side Story. So, how far did you get into this book, Kindred?
I didn't get. I read some of it.
Okay.
Wasn't able to finish it, but I thought I would come anyway. And
Okay, that's okay. Not trying to put you on the spot, just curious. Yeah, I did finish it all. But I was struggling to finish it for some reason. It's just when I feel like I have to finish something, it's harder for me to actually finish it. But I did enjoy it overall. But I checked out the audiobook. So that just kind of, it was easier for me to just kind of let it pour over me, and so I could listen to it while I did stuff and whatever. So I did finish it during the audiobook. So do you mind spoilers?
no,
Okay. So, so Dana, neither Dana nor her boyfriend Kevin, her fiance, I don't know. I don't think they married, but they didn't die. So it's different in that respect from, I guess, Romeo and Juliet. But they did come close to. I would say both of them, mainly Dana. She came pretty close a lot of times to dying. And actually, in the beginning of the book, you can see that she lost an arm during one of her time travels. So, sí, en el libro de Parentesco no hay los personajes principales, Dana, la viajera en el tiempo, ni su novio Kevin, ellos no mueren, pero sí se ve al principio de la obra que Dana pierde su mano, hay una amputación, y esta amputación pasa porque creo que es por la razón esa de que está viajando en el tiempo. So yeah, did you like overall what you read of the book?
Mhm.
I liked it too. I actually checked out one of her other books. This was the first time I read anything by her. I checked out Parable of the Sower. I think is how you say
Right,
it.
I just ordered it.
Okay, all right, great. Yeah, I checked out the audiobook and I started it, and it's equally engaging, I felt like. So I might finish it. I start a lot of books, and it takes me sometimes years to finish. So like there was another book, like a series. Have you heard of, I think it's the Obelisk series of N.K. Jemisin. Have you heard of her? She's also an African American author. I don't know if she is LGBTQ herself, but she does have a couple of LGBTQ characters in that storyline of that specific series. So it's called The Obelisk Gates, or the fifth season. I know one of the books. I know one of the books is the fifth season. That's the name of the first book, I think. So that'll give you the whole thing. So le pregunto a Jeffrey si a él le gustó el libro, lo que pudo leer. Él dice que no lo terminó todo, pero lo que sí leyó le gustó. De hecho, hasta ordenó una de sus otras obras, se llama La parábola del sembrador. Y es una serie de 3 libros, y esa yo también ya la empecé como audiolibro. A veces se me hace más fácil escuchar la historia que leerla. Me parece que termina más fácil así las cosas cuando es por audiolibro. De hecho, este mismo libro, Parentesco, también lo tuve que terminar por medio del audiolibro. Y este audiolibro, este otro audiolibro de la misma autora, de Octavia Butler, también lo renté como audiolibro y me ha gustado, pero esta vez lo renté en inglés. Creo que el audiolibro de Parentesco lo terminé en inglés, pero el libro en sí lo tengo en mi aplicación de Kindle en español. Y también en la librería pude rentar la novela gráfica del libro, y todavía no lo he terminado, pero tal vez pronto. So I checked out the graphic novel. I think I was telling you earlier, and I haven't finished it yet. I'll try to finish it, but there's not a lot of dialogue, so it looks like it'll be pretty easy to go through. But it's fairly pretty. I can show you. The sketch is a little rough, but I think to me, it's just part of like that specific experience. But I've enjoyed it. Do you like graphic novels?
Yeah, I can get into them.
Okay.
Yeah, one I wanted to see was what's his name? John, the Congressman John. What's his name? John. I don't remember his name.
A congressperson?
Yeah, he
wrote a graphic novel?
Yeah, he passed away.
John McCain?
No, he's hold on. John Lewis.
Oh, okay.
John Lewis, I believe he wrote a graphic novel called March, I think.
Okay. Huh.
I think it was John Lewis.
That's great. That's really cool.
I wanted to read that one.
Okay. I don't think
Let me see if it's exactly John Lewis or if it's hold on.
Mientras tanto, yo les puedo mostrar una parte de la novela gráfica de Parentesco. No hay mucho diálogo, pero tal vez puedan ver aquí. Esta es la parte, creo que es la primera parte, la segunda vez en que ella viaja en el tiempo, a Dana, a rescatar a Rufus. Él le dice Rufe. So, were you able to see? Actually, can you see on the screen? Not too bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably better quality, but this is I don't know if you remember this part, but this is the second time.
Yes.
She travels in time.
Yep.
So it's pretty good. I think it's fairly well done. Yeah. What is the one for John Lewis?
It's John Lewis' March. It's called March.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's about I think it's about the march in Selma.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Have you seen that film, Selma?
I didn't see it.
Was the march because of the incident in Selma, or well, the terrorist attack in Selma, or was it leading up to it?
The march was, well, I think it's called March. I don't know if there was a march or not, but I know it's basically he got beat up there. So I think it was his story about how he got beat up and the police brutality of the time. And it was,
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see when the Selma attack happened. Now I'm curious. The Selma to Montgomery marches was in 65.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. Yeah.
Le estaba preguntando yo a Jeffrey si a él le gustaban las novelas gráficas. Yo no. A mí me gusta mucho el arte y la ilustración, entonces me atrae mucho la atención este tipo de obras. Entonces la de Parentesco, si quiero terminarla y verla toda. Jeffrey estaba diciendo que él quiere leer una que se llama Marcha por el congresista John Lewis, afroamericano también. Él la escribió y esa hablando sobre las marchas en Alabama. Selma en Alabama? I forget. You know? I think it is.
Let's see, they're
Alabama,
crossing the
yeah.
bridge. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it says here in Alabama. Es sobre las marchas en Alabama. Creo que estas marchas estaban, tomaron lugar porque había, aunque en ese entonces ya llevaba los Estados Unidos 100 años sin esclavitud. Ya la esclavitud era ilegal en ese entonces, ya lo era por 100 años. Aún así, había mucha discriminación y mucha inigualdad en ese entonces había muchas marchas protestando toda esta inigualdad. Todavía hay mucha segregación e inigualdad por medio de división racial por muchas razones. Pero bueno, esta es una de esas obras que se habla sobre las situaciones en ese entonces. So, okay. I'm going to pull up a couple of questions that I found by the publisher that I found that were pretty interesting. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Okay, how did you feel about the whole time travel thing? Did you, because you said, I don't know if I remember correctly, but last time, I don't know if you're too much into science fiction and fantasy. You generally don't.
I like it. I really do enjoy time traveling.
Okay.
A lot. Yeah, that was one of the aspects of the Gilda stories I liked a lot.
Okay. Do you have any like shows or movies that you can think of that you like that also have that component to it, time traveling?
I can't think of any on the top of my head. There's a musical, a Stephen Sondheim musical called Merrily We Roll Along, and that time travels backwards.
Oh, okay.
So they start instead of going back in time, they go forward in time.
Okay.
So it's, wait, how do you describe it? They start, no, they go back in time. They go back in time, but the show, they start as celebrities. There's three friends, they start as celebrities, and they're not friends anymore. And the show goes back in time to show us the evolution of their friendship, how they used to be friends, and they're not now. But it goes backwards in time.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm a huge not the biggest Doctor Who fan, but I love it. I've seen, I guess, the latest seasons from the late 1990s up until now. There's a lot of time traveling there, and a lot of the characters trying not to change their own histories, and some of them changing it and showing the like detrimental effects of that. So you see a little bit of that in this book. Dana seems to have um, that conflict. You know, she finds out at some point that Rufus, the little red-haired boy that she's saved a couple of times, is actually one of her ancestors. So at first, I think she's just trying to, you know, make a good impact on him and make sure he becomes, and trying to do the best that she can to make sure he becomes a good human. But then she finds out that he is actually part of like a lot of the problems that the enslaved people at the time were going through. So she has to make some hard decisions in the end. Do you know how that ends? Do you want me to tell you?
Sure.
Okay, I thought it was I thought the author did a really good job at gradually making this happen. I didn't think this was going to happen at first, and then Rufus was just doing all these horrible things each and every time they kept meeting. They just kept getting worse and worse, and then I was getting annoyed and angry with Rufus, and then in the end, Rufus tries to rape her, and that's when she kills him, basically. So I didn't think that was going to happen, but the buildup was, I thought, was very, very well done. Because I think she does a good job, the author does a good job at trying to show the humanity of all the characters, really. That's my opinion. But, I don't know. Did you feel like that about how she wrote her characters?
Yes.
I felt like that. Entonces estaba hablando con Jeffrey sobre otras obras que tienen ese componente de viaje a través del tiempo. Él estaba compartiendo que hay una obra que a él le gusta mucho que empieza en el futuro y la historia termina en el pasado. Se llama Merrily We Go Along, is that right?
Merrily We Roll Along. Yeah.
Merrily We Roll Along es una obra sobre unas personas famosas que terminan en enemistad, pero muestra que antes ellos eran amigos. Entonces yo le estaba diciendo a él que en esta obra, que a mí me gusta mucho la ciencia ficción y la fantasía, entonces siempre me atrae este tipo de historia del viaje a través del tiempo. Y uno de mis shows favoritos es Doctor Who. Yo he visto las últimas temporadas que empezaron en los 90s hasta las de ahora, porque este show es más viejo que eso. Creo que en los 60s y los 70s se producieron también otras como 15 temporadas. Entonces es un show que lleva muchos años demostrándose. Y muchos de los personajes en esta serie son personajes que viajan a través del tiempo y que se enfrentan a ciertos dilemas en los cuales ellos tienen que decidir si deben afectar su propio futuro o no deben afectarlo. También muestra las consecuencias de lo que pasa a las personas que viajan en el futuro, que viajan a través del tiempo y afectan lo que le pasa a su propio futuro. Entonces, para todos ustedes que son así un poco nerditos como yo, entonces pueden entender qué son las consecuencias del viaje a través del tiempo. Pero en este libro específicamente, en Parentesco, Nosotros conocemos a Dina, que ella es una persona que viaja a través del tiempo y que ella viaja cada vez a salvar a Rufus, que es un niño blanco, un niño blanco en los Estados Unidos. Y cada vez que ella viaja, el niño está en peligro y ella lo salva. Entonces, las primeras 2, 3 veces, la autora hace muy buen trabajo en demostrar de que es esta persona, Dana, la personaje principal, viaja a través del tiempo sin ninguna poder sobre su propio viaje a través del tiempo y salva a este niño y se da cuenta de que este niño está creciendo en los Estados Unidos, en el sur americano de los 1800, en los cuales en ese entonces la esclavitud todavía era legal. Entonces, ella a través de que pasan todos estos viajes a través del tiempo, ella se da cuenta de que Rufus es uno de sus antepasados, es un tatarabuelo. Y entonces ella va entendiendo de que ella se tiene que enfrentar a este dilema, hasta dónde ella decide afectar su propio futuro y su propio pasado y tiene que tener en mente qué es lo que puede pasar si ella afecta su futuro o su pasado de una forma u otra. Entonces le estaba diciendo yo a Jeffrey, preguntándole si él sabía cómo termina este libro. Y le estaba comentando a él que la autora hizo muy buen trabajo en mostrar la humanidad de todos los personajes. Y para mí, al principio yo no creí que el libro fuera a terminar así, pero a través de que pasaba y leía el libro y escuchaba más el libro, yo quería menos y menos a Rufus y le tenía menos paciencia y me molestaba más y me decepcionaba más. Entonces, ella al final del libro, Dana, ella viaja otra vez, una última vez, creo, al pasado, y se da cuenta de que su tatarabuela, ella la ve colgando de un árbol. Entonces, los otros esclavos dicen que ella se suicidó, pero hay otros esclavos que dicen que Rufus fue el que la mató, porque Rufus, como algunos de ustedes que ya tal vez leyeron o escucharon el libro, él según estaba enamorado ella era Alice, sí, de Alice. Pero otros esclavos pensaban que él básicamente la mató. Entonces, cuando Dina viaja otra vez, una última vez en el pasado, ella se enfrenta con esta nueva realidad, se da cuenta de que los hijos, productos de estas violaciones de Rufus en contra de Alice, están a salvo, pero que su madre no está a salvo. Pero en medio de todo este caos y la pérdida de Alice, Rufus comete otro último instante de locura y intenta violar a Dana. Él no sabe quién es ella, que ella es una de sus descendientes, pero sí sabe que ella viaja en el futuro. Y entonces él intenta violarla, pero Dana lo mata a él antes de que él la viole. Entonces a mí me parece, estábamos hablando Jeffrey y yo, que a la autora hace muy buen trabajo en demostrar que Dana en sí tiene como un carácter muy heroico, es un personaje muy heroico y que pues a mí se me impresionó que ella llegara a este punto, pero a la misma vez digo yo que entiendo por qué lo hizo. So, um, so yeah, I enjoyed the storyline. I thought it was pretty dark. Because even the Gilda stories was fairly dark, although I did enjoy the last chapter of it. I thought there was a little more hope than the previous 2 or 3 chapters leading up to the last chapter. I don't know if were you able to go back and read part of the last?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember that one of the characters actually um, was going to commit suicide, the last vampire she turned, and then that's when Gilda found her, pretty much at the edge of her all trying to take her own life. So I that was an interesting storyline, I thought. So did you feel a little more hopeful in that book in the last?
Yeah, I mean, I was just comparing 2020 to now in my mind. I was thinking how different her version of now is is happening. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, 'cause there was a lot. Let me see. Her 2020 was when all the paparazzi were after her, and I mean, her escape really out of the United States, maybe, right? Hers was a lot. Or are you thinking? Oh no, yeah. Are you thinking? Are you talking about the Gilda stories?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, her. That was a lot darker than our present, I think.
Yes.
So yeah. Did you in this, even though I feel like it was a pretty dark storyline um, for this book, the last part of it, um, but like in the end, once she makes it back after killing Rufus, she her and Kevin go physically to Maryland and do some research about what happened to the plantation and everybody in it and how all of that panned out. And you see that some of the slaves were able to get freed because I think Dana was able to talk him into writing a will where some of the enslaved people were freed. Can't remember the specifics, but I think in a way Dana was able to like affect a lot more lives than I guess she even intended to at the beginning. So I think she was I feel like she was a lot more hesitant to affect events in that storyline at first. So, but yeah, they go back and travel, and then they find out that um, I guess one of the enslaved people set fire to the plantation. So it was recorded as a fire. A lot of the deaths in there. Um, so uh, she was teaching a lot of the slaves how to read and write, and I think they were able to like, you know, make the paperwork um, just kind of pan out as well. So, but I can't remember exactly what the slaves did, but that was basically the ending of it. Um, she was able to see that a lot of the enslaved folk were able to get free and whatnot. I don't know, and then she was still with Kevin. She was still dating him. Did you like him, that character, Kevin? I liked him too. I thought he was pretty courageous too. Um, at some point, he also travels with her, decides to travel with her, and I thought that was pretty courageous. And then he stayed back like 5 years at some point when they separated. So, are you hot? I'm gonna turn the AC up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking so much. I'm usually more like a cold-blooded, and I can take the heat, but I feel pretty hot right now. Estábamos hablando que al final del libro, entonces ya después de que ella mata a Rufus, a su tatarabuelo, nos damos cuenta de que ella viaja a Maryland, ya cuando ella está en su propio presente, ella viaja a Maryland con su comprometido, con su novio Kevin, hacia a ver qué fue lo que pasó con las propiedades, con la gente, con los esclavos. Entonces ella y Kevin ven que los esclavos tal vez pudieron, que ella ve que ella pudo en algún momento convencer a Rufus de que liberara a algunos de los esclavos antes por escrito en su testamento. Y también parece que la plantación hubo un incendio y eso fue la razón escrita por la cual la plantación tuvo su final y Rufus tuvo su final. Entonces, parece que nunca se determinó cómo murió Rufus. Ok, entonces miremos unas de estas preguntas. Hay algunas interesantes. Let's look at some of these questions. Okay, so I think this one is interesting. So there's a part where Dana is kind of like not defending everybody involved during the slavery, but she was just trying to show us, what it was like. So part of the line says, the ease. Us, the children, I never realized how easily people could be trained to accept slavery. So I remember now that that's a part where the kids, she sees some of the enslaved kids playing outside and they're playing slavery. So, they're selling each other off to each other and they're just kids playing. But, this is something that Dana says to Kevin when they return to the present and they're discussing that experience. Do you believe that racial oppressions still exist today? So I'm going to go ahead and answer first, and you're welcome to answer too. I think racial oppression still is pretty present. It's very present, and a lot of us aren't like exposed to it, so we don't know it's happening. But it is. So there's all this gerrymandering still happening based on like income taxes and then property taxes and stuff, and that is also based a lot on race. I'll go check that out. All right.
All right, deliver.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
You gotta take a lot of pizza. Pretty hot still. So you're welcome to call me here. We'll get some plates. You don't need this. Nice and warm. So yeah, like you're saying, like I was saying, I think racial oppression is still happening. Some of it may be unintentional now, but it's still present, and that doesn't make it any more okay for us to like turn a blind eye to it. So, yeah, I think it is still present. So, do you see that maybe in our communities or in other states, in other cities?
Yes. I do see I do see racial oppression, absolutely. I had an African American, he like black, so I had a black boyfriend at one point. And we had a lot of conversations about how our lives are different and how we're treated differently. And we really were. We saw the differences. When we were together, we were separate. We could see that the people around us treated us differently at different times. We could see it was definitely different. There's no doubt about it.
Did any of the like experiences in the book kind of remind you of experiences with your exposure?
Not as violent.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Because even I remember even Dana's present, her own present, it was still pretty. She faced a lot of prejudice even in her own like immediate family circle. So I think who was it? I think one of her family members didn't want to meet Kevin because he was white, or vice versa. Yeah, so there was some like prejudice there and a lot of pressures about that. And I don't know if she faced any discrimination at her workplace with Kevin. I can't remember, but I know that's where they met. But she definitely faced a lot. You know, she had to hide that they were husband and wife, or they were in a relationship when they traveled back in time, for sure. And I think, I feel like we still see some like prejudice when there's interracial couples. Haven't really faced too much, like much of that in person, but I have seen it. So, but I especially see it in like, like school quality and neighborhood like quality and safety. I see that racial oppression is still, alive. So, entonces estábamos hablando que en una situación en que Dana enfrenta en el libro, ella viaja a través del tiempo con Kevin esta vez, y ellos hubo un momento donde ellos ven a los niños y hijos de esclavos, que ellos también eran esclavos, los niños, que ellos estaban esclavizados, estaban jugando como si ellos estuvieran en una venta de esclavos, y como si ellos estuvieran vendiéndose los unos a los otros. Entonces, ella en esta parte, ella habla de que sí hay formas en que las personas enfrentan la esclavitud, aceptan la esclavitud así fácilmente. Pero ella pues describe de que no la aceptaban fácilmente en ese entonces, pero era porque una de las razones que ella decía era que los niños estaban expuestos a este estilo de vida que tal vez los hacía pensar de que no había nada, no estaba incorrecto vender a otros humanos por la esclavitud. Entonces, los publicadores de esta obra preguntan que si nosotros todavía vemos la opresión racial, y Jeffrey y yo estábamos hablando que sí la vemos. Yo personalmente la veo en la calidad escolar, en la calidad de la seguridad en ciertas comunidades. Hay algunas comunidades que tienen una mayoría de una raza o la otra, y generalmente las comunidades, las minoridades afroamericanas y también latinas ah, tienen muy poquito acceso a educación equitativa de buena calidad para sus hijos, por ejemplo, para sus niños. También la seguridad no es la misma seguridad que disfrutan otras comunidades. Entonces, sí, todavía vemos que la opresión racial existe. Tal vez no sea tan, tal vez no sea tan, como tan obvia ahora, pero todavía existe. También estábamos hablando sobre nuestras propias experiencias con parejas interraciales. Jeffrey compartió que él tenía una pareja, un novio afroamericano moreno, que él también, cuando estaban juntos, ellos veían como ese prejuicio en los demás y que los trataban diferente cuando veían que estaban juntos. So, la opresión racial todavía existe. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything that like stands out to you about the story or the book that you think we haven't discussed right now? I'm trying to see.
No, it was just interesting that she goes back in time and has this relationship with Rufus and how that plays out. And I just thought it was it is a dark piece, but it's interesting. The psychological aspect of it, in my mind, I think is very interesting. Her, yeah, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. I wanted to, at first when he was little, I liked him. I feel like with kids, I'm not, like I used to tutor a good bit in one of my previous jobs, and I've been like a camp counselor in a couple of summer camps. So I've enjoyed like interacting with kids in that level, that educational level. You see that, kids are kids and they're still learning a lot. So there's like, at the time I've seen it as opportunities for growth and to teach. So I've enjoyed that setting. So when we see little Rufus and Dana interact, I think Dana takes on like a similar like mindset. She understands that he's just a kid and a lot of this is out of his control. He didn't really choose to be born a slave owner. So at first I do like the little kid. He's just a kid. And then later on, as he makes worse and worse decisions, it gets harder to like him or to respect him or to be compassionate towards him. So yeah, I don't know, but even then, like I guess because I think like a lot of these conversations are a little similar to like the conversations about Nazi Germany. So I think I don't know where I heard this, but there were a couple of trials for that. The first set of trials were the people who were directly in charge of like the camps, the concentration camps, and were directly involved with the killings of the Jewish people. And then there was another set of trials that people were judged on their unwillingness to act. These were like judges and people in offices and people who were kind of aware of stuff going on but didn't do much about it. So it's hard. I mean, I guess right now we are facing a lot of like injustice, and some of us try to like affect it in some ways, but I still think I don't think I'd ever. It'd be hard for me to be Rufus. Like I don't know what I would have to go through to be that person, back then. But I guess Rufus did have like his father. His father sucked. Like his dad was also a slave owner and didn't treat him well either. And I don't know. I feel like Rufus had a lot more freedom to act better, to be a better person, and he didn't really use that towards the end of the story. So it's harder for me to like sympathize with him the last couple chapters. But I still think, yeah, the author did a great job at trying to like make him seem human. I don't know. Estábamos hablando de que a Jeffrey le parece interesante la forma en que la autora habla sobre Rufus, sobre la forma en que ella lo describe a él. A mí también me pareció muy interesante, me gustó, me parece que la autora hace muy buen trabajo intentando demostrar la forma más humana de Rufus, su parte más humana. Porque pues al principio pues es más fácil, me parece a mí, tener compasión por Rufus porque él es un niño en la gran parte del principio del libro. Entonces, con los niños hay más oportunidad de aprendizaje y de enseñar. Entonces, los niños a veces actúan y dicen cosas que son cosas que ellos aprendieron de otros y entonces es más difícil como hacerlos responsables por las cosas que hacen o dicen, pero son oportunidades de aprendizaje, me parece a mí. Pero ya estaba hablando con Jeffrey que ya al final del libro, las últimas capítulos del libro se me hace más difícil tener como más compasión de Rufus, porque me parece que él ya los últimos capítulos tiene más libertad de hablar, de actuar y de mejorar las vidas de las personas a su alrededor. Entonces, no me siento, me da tristeza de que este niño que antes era un niño que no tenía mucho control sobre su propia vida se haya convertido en alguien así tan déspota, tan cruel. So I don't know if you remember in some of the books, she would say, she would talk about Rufus in the sense that he loved Alice in his own way, or at least he thought he did. So, and then that's one of those lines that make me think, that she did try to show some humanity in Rufus. So, and I think, like, I remember reading a little bit about Octavia Butler trying to write this book and the reasons behind it. I think at the time she would hear a lot of like different social justice leaders and activist leaders say that, even criticize like the enslaved people because they felt that they even had a lot more power over their own situation than they let on to. But Octavia Butler, I think, wrote this book to try to show that the like society was a lot more complex than maybe some of these present social justice leaders were considering. So, I mean, I have opinions and I like to think about this stuff, but as far as I know, I don't think I have any like ancestors that were enslaved in like the recent couple of like centuries. So I'm a little hesitant to just even talk about this topic, really. So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's important that we talk about it, but it's a little hard sometimes. Because I mean, you know, when you think about like the characters in this book, none of them knew how to read and write. And then this was also used by like the slaveholders to control like that their slaves. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. Like I'm wondering who I would have been if I could have chosen like a person at the time, like who I would have been. You know, I'm wondering who I could have been. Do you have any thoughts as to the kind of person you would have been at the time, or maybe do you know any of your own ancestors who, like, where they were at that time in the history of the U.S.
Yeah,
that you'd like to share? It's kind of
yeah, my ancestors came from Russia,
okay.
and they spoke Yiddish.
Okay.
So, and we're a Jewish family.
Okay.
So basically, they lived in like the ghettos of Russia, basically. Came to America mainly to, you know, hopefully create a better life for themselves. And they did.
Okay.
And I'm a result of my family's determination and what I consider courage to, you know, leave their land to explore new places that they only heard about, you know. And I ended up growing up, you know, in a more I could say happier environment than they did because of what they did.
Okay. Do you know like about when they migrated over?
Yeah, that would be my great grandmother. You know what? I don't know exactly when. I think it might have been early 20s.
Okay. In the 1900s?
Yes,
Okay.
because my great grandmother, I think my grandmother was born here in America, but my great grandmother on my mother's side came over from Russia. My great grandmother came from Russia, but I think my grandmother was born here. But my other grandparents, I think they actually came from Russia.
Okay.
I think it was all around the same time.
Okay.
It was before World War II.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. And did they come here to the Florida area or another?
No, they went to New Jersey.
Okay. Is that where?
I think that was just practical. It was by Ellis Island.
Ellis Island. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where they all went.
Okay. Let's see, I know very little. Like on my dad's side, I don't know. I would say they had some like Middle Eastern, maybe South Spaniard, like Mediterranean background, but I'm not sure. I need to look that up. So I don't know where too much about that part of my ancestry. But on my mother's side, we think that a lot of like that ancestry comes from Sephardi Jew migrations in the late 1500s. I think like when a lot of them were being exiled from Spain. So I think a lot of that ancestry comes from that, and then they moved to Colombia. That's where I'm
Oh, so you're
from.
Jewish as well?
I think there's a lot of like that
Okay.
ancestry there. From what I've read, there's still a lot more research I'd like to do about that. But I think there's a good, like, as far as I can tell, there's like a 30-40% like possibility that there's that Jewish ancestry, but from 500, 400 years ago. So I don't really even think like a lot of customs passed down from those people.
Well, also, I'm Ashkenazi, so Sephardic Ashkenazi is different from Sephardic, is what it's called?
I think it's Sephardic. Yes, Sephardic. Yes.
Yeah, it's a different culture. Two different aspects of Judaism. Um, I think that's why in our culture, the culture, the cultural practices are passed along.
Okay. I've noticed like in other like similar communities. Sephardic, yeah. I noticed in other similar Latin American communities with similar cultures, we have a lot of similar stuff. So like generally we're pretty close with our like parents or grandparents, and it's usually pretty tightly knit community in that respect. So yeah, I don't know. I think so to put it in the perspective of this storyline, I think around the 1800s, a lot of my ancestry, they had been in the Americas a good 200 years already. So I think it's always interesting to see where your own storyline was at the time. Estábamos hablando sobre nuestros propios ancestros y nuestros propios familiares. Jeffrey estaba compartiendo de que muchos de sus ancestros y abuelos y tatarabuelos son descendientes rusos de algunas culturas judías. Entonces, muchos de sus abuelos migraron a los Estados Unidos antes de la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Yo estaba diciéndole que mucha de mi familia ya llevaba como 200 años. Tengo entendido que muchos de ellos ya habían migrado al área de Colombia, en las montañas de Antioquia. Ya llevan como más de 300, 400 años que han vivido ahí, después de que habían migrado desde Europa. Pensamos que de algunas partes del sur de España y de algunas áreas del Mediterráneo. Hubo una gran migración en ese entonces de algunos judíos exiliados por la religión católica en ese entonces, según tengo entendido. No estoy muy seguro y quisiera hacer más investigación sobre mis propios antepasados, porque estábamos hablando de qué tipo de persona pensamos que hubiéramos sido en ese entonces, hace digamos 200 años, que la esclavitud todavía era legal en los Estados Unidos, y entonces resultamos hablando y dónde estaban nuestros propios antepasados en ese entonces. Como muchos de ustedes ya saben, este mes es el mes de la historia negra. Entonces estamos recordando y celebrando personajes y eventos buenos y honrando eventos duros que han pasado a nuestros hermanos, hermanas y familiares afroamericanos y negros a través del país y del mundo. So yeah, since we're celebrating Black History Month, I remember us choosing this specific book to try to honor that too. And just to tie it back a little bit to the LGBTQ theme, I had a hard time finding firsthand accounts of Octavia Butler's connection to the LGBTQ community. I don't know if you know any about that, about her connection to the LGBTQ community. I found that, there were times that she visited the LGBT center in Los Angeles, um, because she felt very out of place. She seemed to always be kind of like an odd person out in her class and amongst her peers. And um, she says that that wasn't it. That wasn't it. She went a couple of times, but I couldn't find anything either on any information about her relationships. It seems like a big part of her adult life she spent alone, but I don't know, and I couldn't find much to support that one way or the other. But she did die at a pretty, I thought, a pretty young age. I think she died in her early 60s, late 50s, um, of like a blood pressure. So I want to say I do want to like claim her, as some of the kids say, as part of our community. Maybe she was asexual, who knows? Or maybe some type of pansexual. But there are some articles going around that say that she was a lesbian, and that some of her neighbors and friends have corroborated. But I couldn't find like any firsthand like account of interviews or anything like that by people who were actually her neighbors or friends. So, but she is celebrated as an LGBTQ author in a lot of articles and a lot of like rather respectable like newspapers and news sources. So, sí, entonces este mes es el mes de de la historia negra. Estamos hablando un poco sobre la conexión LGBT de Octavia Butler. Y según la investigación que hicimos, que hice un poco, no hay como mucha información de primera mano, digamos, de entrevistas o de familiares que digan específicamente de que Octavia Butler fue lesbiana o bisexual o asexual o pansexual. Pero hay muchas revistas y organizaciones respetables que dicen que ella era lesbiana y que han hablado con vecinos y amigos que sí podían decir de que ella era parte de la comunidad LGBT. A mí me gustaría pensar que sí, ella era parte de nuestra comunidad, tal vez era asexual, porque no se conocía mucha información sobre parejas ni nada por el respecto, aunque sí hubo unas veces que ella dice haber visitado el centro LGBT en Los Ángeles, porque ella se sentía que no encajaba con las personas a su alrededor o con grupos a su alrededor, pero dice que tal vez eso no era para ella. Pero aparte de eso, no se le conocía mucho información sobre parejas, sobre nadie así que pudiera decir específicamente cuál era su sexualidad, pero como les digo, sí hay muchas organizaciones y revistas que dicen que ella era parte de la comunidad LGBT. Y sí hay algunos, ¿cómo se llama? Algunas obras en las que ella tiene algunos personajes LGBT. Bueno, so I think we are getting close to the end of today's discussion. If you had to give it a rating to the book out of 5 stars, what would you give it at this point?
Maybe 4.
4? Okay. Let's see. I think I rated it a 5. But I can see it being a 4 for sure. So I don't know. I think we can combine our scores and do a 4.5, maybe on Goodreads. So I'm terrible with ratings. For me, it's either pretty much a lot of stuff I complete, I think it's worthwhile. So I'll just be like, okay, it's a 5. But I did enjoy it overall, and I do want to read more of her books or be more exposed to some of her books. Although when I started Parable of the Sour, I thought it was still pretty dark. So I wanted to see if I can find something a little lighter by her because I think she writes. I like how she writes. I enjoyed the way how introspective she is, and I like hearing and seeing her character's thoughts. And she does that very well, I think. So you said you are reading, you're checking out another book by her.
Yeah, I also checked out what was the book you got called?
Parable of the Sower.
Yeah, Parable. Yeah, I just ordered it.
Okay, great.
So they're gonna deliver it to me.
Okay, very good. Sí, entonces Jeffrey le dio 4 estrellas. Yo le voy a dar 5 estrellas a este libro. Generalmente cuando termino un libro o escojo un libro, es porque en realidad quiero terminarlo y leerlo. Entonces no sé mucho sobre los ratings y sobre cómo darle calificaciones a los libros, pero sí, tal como les estaba comentando anteriormente, sí me gustaría leer más obras sobre ella, pero tal vez me gustaría leer una que sea un poco más positiva, porque esta fue un poco oscura, pero sí me gustó y me gustaría leer más sobre ella. Jeffrey también ordenó una copia de la parábola del agricultor, del sembrador, entonces ya viene en camino. A él le gustó la forma en que escribe Octavia Butler. Ok, entonces, I think our next subject in the agenda is our April movie. It's just you and me, so I think we can choose an April movie if you are interested. We already have our March movie, so our April movie, we can, I think pretty much a good number of LGBTQ movies have at least like subtitles in Spanish. So we can talk more about the discussion later, but you and I can definitely choose it. Have you seen it? Is there anything you have in mind that you haven't seen yet or that you'd like to discuss?
Well, I don't know if it's available, but I didn't see the prom.
Okay.
I'd like to see that.
I haven't seen it yet. So I definitely do want to see it eventually. So I think we can just go ahead and choose that. I think that would be good. And I know Netflix does a pretty good job at having subtitles or some type of translation. So
Yeah.
so let's go with that. Right? I think that would be good.
Cool.
Entonces, Jeffrey y yo escogimos la película para abril. La discusión va a ser sobre The Prom. Es una película que ahorita se está mostrando por Netflix. Es nueva, creo que es del 2020, del 2021. Entonces, la discusión de abril va a ser The Prom. La discusión para la película de marzo ya la escogimos. Es Love, Valor and Compassion. No, disculpen, es Love, Valor, Compassion. Y pueden encontrar más información en nuestro sitio web y Facebook para ver la película. Pero la discusión de marzo va a ser en inglés. La discusión en abril va a ser así en este mismo formato bilingüe. Okay. Bueno, entonces si necesitan alguna información sobre diferentes recursos en nuestra comunidad, no se olviden de visitar nuestro sitio web naplespride.org. Hay una gran lista de los tipos de servicios que hay alrededor del condado que ayudan a nuestra comunidad. Pueden ver una lista de negocios que apoyan a nuestra comunidad. Hay muy buena información en este sitio web para que vean, para que se eduquen un poco más. So make sure to visit our website as well to find more information about resources around the county that serve our community and to see more information about businesses as well that serve our community. So that website again is naplespride.org. And there's other great information there to check out. So we look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in person maybe or by Zoom next time. And that RSVP link will always be available on our website on naplespride.org. Entonces esperamos verlos en nuestra propia junta, sea en persona, sea por Zoom, sea en los comentarios después de la grabación. Y solo sepan de que esta información de cada evento va a estar siempre en nuestro sitio web, naplespride.org. Hasta luego todos, que tengan buen miércoles. Bye bye everybody. Have a good Wednesday and whatever day it is that you're watching this.